Far too long have the people of the East suffered at the hands of the West. It's time we unify. That's right. We're continuing our Russia campaign. It's here, isn't it? Yeah. The Russia campaign. In this part, we're going to be claiming our role as the Third Rome and protecting all the Slavs, as well as we'll be going for the Great Imperial Ambitions, the unique new missions that you get as the Russians once you complete the second part of the mission tree. This is, of course, the third part in my Russia mega campaign where we play from 1444 to 1821. You'll find the link to the first part in the description below. And if we get 4,000 likes, we'll do the final part of this campaign. I'm dividing this in two because I want to show you guys some really awesome and interesting 15 to 1600 moves as the Russians, and I also want to put a bit of an emphasis on the late game with the revolutions and how exactly you're going to be navigating that with absolutism, how to handle your privileges, the changes between that and such, which really requires a little bit more of an explanation, and I don't want to have a video that's 4 hours long, so I'm going to have to split it up and edit it a little bit more. Now, to give a bit of an overview of our situation here, we have 232 total income, which is not amazing, but we haven't yet started with our trade company, so that's going to change massively in a few moments. We have only 4 subjects. We need to get 3 more subjects in order to get this particular mission done, which will allow us to go for the Great Imperial Ambition that gives us the rest of the mission tree unlocked. Idea-wise, we went for quantity, trade, religious. I've seen some of you guys say in the previous part of this campaign, oh, Ludi, you suck at the game because you didn't go admin diplomatic. Brother, I mentioned from before, I'm not going for a world conquest here, and as such, I do not need to go for admin diplomatic. I did say we're going to get historical Russian borders, which we pretty much achieved. We will be expanding a little bit more. Of course, we'll be more nicely getting our borders in Asia here, eating up most of Central Asia, and we're going to get the Balkans, Central Europe, Poland, all of Scandinavia, in this part, of course, because that is rightful Russian clay, for this campaign at least. But aside from that, what we're going to try to do is just get as much money as possible, as much manpower as possible as Russia. We have 324,000 right now, but we can definitely do a lot better. We haven't really been doing meta stuff. I haven't been taking any loans, so as you can imagine, I haven't been try-harding that much. I'm just basically having fun, enjoying the game, and showing you guys what I'm doing, why I'm doing that, in the hopes that maybe you can learn something, but more importantly, enjoy watching the campaign with me as it unfolds. I could just Alt F4 every 5 seconds to get better RNG like some people do. I don't, because that's not fun to me. So whatever happens, happens. We roll with it. We mold ourselves on whatever does happen in our campaign, because that's what my videos are about, end of the day. Now, guys, I also want to ask a favor. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. I am trying to reach 230,000 subs by the end of May. Well, May 20th to be more precise, which is the birthday of somebody that I really love. And I promise I'll do my best to get towards that amount of subs. I know it's not likely to happen, but I had to ask anyway, right? Now, we do have a little bit of overextension right now, 83%. And we are pretty much on the limit with governing capacity. So we're not going to be expanding anytime soon. We're going to have to fix that situation. And we're also going to be culturally converting and obviously changing the religion of everybody to our religion. Why am I allied to Nassau? Oh, because of the printing press, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, we need to get the printing press for these guys. They're giving it right now to Munster, so we have to wait until Munster gets the printing press. I'm gonna improve relations with them, though. I really would like to get the printing press ASAP. We do have a few nations that we can flat out just diplomatically vassalize, including Siena and a few other nations around here, so I'm gonna do that. Actually, I am gonna be getting the Sienese as a diplo vassal, and I'm gonna release some other vassals to feedback cores, maybe in Asia, to get the rest of the complement that we need to do the mission. We're gonna have to continue to explore with our beloved explorer. Remember that we can, for 100 years, explore and recruit conquistadors, as well as we have the 2 colonists, which allow us to colonize the Cascadian area, basically Alaska. I'm gonna try and snake all the way around the entirety of the west coast of America, get some colonies going there, and use them to get extra merchants in the process. The situation around the world, aside from what's happening in our country, is Timbuktu pretty much has most of West Africa. Ethiopia is also pretty massive. Timurids are doing pretty good for themselves. Ming has collapsed in the meanwhile, and Shun is the big boy. India is still fairly divided amongst 5-6 big powers. What is surprising, though, is that Porbandar managed to become the big boy boy in the Gujarati area. Remember, these guys start as a one province minor, so that is a massive kudos to them. Oh, we can actually maybe buy a province from Malacca with the charter company interaction. We just need to get some more money and, of course, improve relations with the Malaccans. That way we do our mission, and we also can start getting a bit of a foothold in the Southeast Asian bits where we can establish some trade companies, of course. We also need to do a bit of a war here with the Ottomans because they're absolute scum, and we need to take back the holy city of Constantinople to do another one of our missions, of course. Should be fairly easy. We absolutely wrecked their armies in the previous war, but they're up to 100,000 units again. Fortunately for us, we have literally 3 times more, and we can get even more than that. Actually, I need to spend a little bit more on corruption. Apparently, I managed to get some corruption from events, which is no bueno. And yes, that's a proper diplomatic term, by the way, no bueno, in case you're wondering. Whilst we're doing that war, we probably could do another war against the Timurids. We do have the Deus Vult CB, by the way, since we finished unlocking all of the religious ideas. So we can attack whoever we want, whenever we want. I only have 40,000 units. Okay, yeah, that's going to be extremely easy. Let's go for that too. A 50% cheaper military advisor. You know what? I'm actually going to go for that. But I do have a bit of a issue with my mana. I have way too much of it. So I know what you're thinking. Ludi, you complaining about having too much military power? Yes, apparently. Well, that can easily be fixed. We can just start developing some of our provinces. I'm going to go for developing livestock, grain, fish, and wine provinces when it comes to manpower. And I'm going to prioritize my home areas, basically areas that are already my primary culture, Muscovite or even Novgorodian, Ryazanian, and such. There you go. For example, Mogilev. Some really good areas for manpower developing is actually the Ukrainian parts, which is filled with grain, filled with livestock. It is in essence the livestock, or better yet, the grain basket of Europe, as they used to call it, right? I also called in the Spaniards in this war because I can use them to get easily rid of the Tunisians and all the other allies to the west of Europe that the Turks have. So I don't need to worry about that myself. Oh, how cute. The Ottomans are actually trying to relieve the siege of Constantinople. Nice attempt there, Ottomans, but I don't think that's gonna work, sir. Not when I have way more units than you ever will have. You know what? I recommend you just switch your capital to Ankara because you're not needed in the Balkans anymore. Now, right here is a clear example of why sometimes I hate not building my forts in time. Because there's basically no defense here. The Ottomans occupying these provinces will start causing them to get a lot of devastation, and lowering the devastation is going to be a lot more difficult if there's no fortifications around, right? So of course, we're going to have to build forts to lower the devastation there, aside from obviously to protect those areas too from future invasions. I'm going to start actually with Latust, which is my beloved gold mine. The game really wants to put me into debt, doesn't it? It's offering 3 innovativeness. Of course I'm going to go for that. That means we're up to 52 innovativeness, which in turn means that every single power cost that we have is roughly about 5% cheaper, 5.2% cheaper to be more exact. I'm just going to give the Spaniards 50% of Tunis because I can, because I like to see Spain in essence becoming the Western Roman Empire, and I can be the Eastern one, right? Oh ho ho ho. The fate of the empire is in my hands. I get to decide if I'm going to join the Catholic League or the Protestant League. I'm obviously going to go for the Protestant League, but I have to do this when I'm not at war. So after the war with the Ottomans, we can join this. That means that if we play our cards right and we drag the war for long enough, it's possible that we can get religious freedom, which means that any religion can become the HRE emperor, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we're going to go for that. We're going to try. Wait, what? Austria just inherited Milan? I didn't even realize Milan was a freaking union of the Austrians. One of the main issues with building fortifications in the steppe areas is the fact that they're steppe areas, so it is really difficult to find provinces that would be easier to defend. In most cases, building here is just asking to give away free war score to an enemy sieging it down, because it's going to be very easy for them to siege these areas down. Oh, that's a cool little Russian flavor event. We can get 10 national tax modifier and admin technology cost reduction for 50 admin. I think that's actually worth it. Let's also continue with our development spree. I'm scrolling the return core area of the demand peace tribute, and it's just insane how many nations have the ability to get cores back from the Ottomans. 90% of their country used to belong to someone else a few moments ago. Alright, I think that is everything for our subjects. I'm going to take the Kosovo mine also and Zeta, just so I have slightly nicer borders here, which means we got to stay in this war for a little bit longer. We've taken most of the forts. I think the last fort they have that is not taken is Kars, and once we've got that, we can just carpet siege the rest of the country and enforce our deal. Okay, cars, you got it full now. Come on. There you go. All right. We brought in extra cannons. That's why it was up to 92. Otherwise, it would have fallen a while back, I guess. Okay, now you got enough war score, I hope. No, apparently we don't. We need to wait for 1 more month. There you go. Refresh. All right, now let's see if we have enough war score. I do believe we do, though. Yes, we do. So let's see if we have enough war score. We do. I don't think we can go above this, though. Nope, we cannot go even one above it. It's fine, though. No big issue. We managed to get back all the cores for our subjects, and that is exactly what we wanted from this war in the first place. The next war, we're going to directly take lands for ourselves in the Balkans. All of the Balkans will be given to us, and I'm also going to be taking parts of the Caucasus from them too. And speaking of, we need to clean up the Caucasus, let's say. I'm going to be attacking Gazi Communes. I don't need to co-belligerate them because I don't want to have to fight a jam just for one province, for that matter. I actually did lose a couple of stacks in that war, so I'm going to have to recruit some more units. Ivan, 503. Wow, what an amazing... Oh, I'm so sorry, Ivan. I pressed the wrong button. Wow, the estates is literally asking me to culturally convert areas to my culture. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, estates. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna do it anyway, but it's unbelievable that you're asking me to, you know? Oh, Austria is actually allied to Poland, so I have to wait until my truce is over with Poland because I don't want to waste that sort of an opportunity, of course. So I guess we're gonna change. We're not gonna go for the Austrian War. We're gonna go for the Timurid War now. Who's the best army in the south? Russia! Are we in the south? We will be in a few moments. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes is what I'm gonna take from the Timurids. And also make my leader a general because I kind of want him to die. He's not amazing, bro. 343 is such a disappointment. I should have disinherited this guy like 50 years ago. I just forgot, really. And I don't care if he dies and we get a different dynasty or whatever. I don't care, okay? Anything is better than that. And the 503 guy from before. Like, come on. Let's make sure we give this core out to our beloved Georgians. And avec le folius annexationis maximus. Oh, look how pretty our borders look now. I'm actually curious, Karakoyunlu, if they still have the cores. They do! Karakoyunlu, would you like to be my subject? You would. Wait, what? They got more than 100 development. I'm pretty sure they're gonna lose some of that development, right? I'm gonna improve relations with them just in case they lose Iraq somehow or more land. Seeing as I'm gonna be converting everything to Muscovite eventually, I'm also slowly converting the 3 development or 4 development provinces, which basically are very cheap to convert. We also make it even cheaper by having fully embraced religious and having an adjacent province that is already Muscovite. So this is extremely easy to do, especially in the Siberian parts. The main issue here is really just making sure we convert these areas beforehand to our religion, which is not that far away. We pretty much converted all of our country right now, just pockets of Sunni here and there left, really. So there you go. We can start converting all of the 13 diplomatic power provinces to our culture, and even up to say 20 diplomatic power is not a bad idea. It's worth it because that means we get no more separatists afterwards, and we don't need to stress about having the penalties from these provinces not being owned by accepted cultures, which obviously give less income and less manpower because they're not accepted. And I'm an absolute Schnitzeldorf. I forgot to join the religious league again. Bro, why do I keep forgetting these things? I literally reminded myself to do it after the freaking Dagestan war, and then I start the Timurids war forgetting to join the Protestant side. So I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst. I swear to freaking Schnitzeldorf, it's not normal how many times I forget stuff. Like it's worrisome at this point. But like I said, I'm gonna roll with it. It's part of the game. It's part of why I love playing EU4, because even though I make mistakes, I'm human, and I just play with these mistakes done and just see how it works out, because that's where the fun lies at the end of the day. Not just in stacking insane amounts of modifiers and playing it perfectly altiforing until you get the best outcome. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with playing like that if you enjoy that. I just don't find that fun personally. But of course, everybody plays the game different, so you're entitled to play however you want to play, obviously. Don't let me or anyone else dictate how you play your game. As long as you're having fun in EU4, that's the main point of it, guys. Every time I look at the province of Bamiyan, I remember about the Buddha statues here that got blown up by the Taliban. One of the biggest disasters in modern times, in my opinion. Absolutely disgusting how a crucial piece of world heritage and history was destroyed by a group of freaking fanatics. Oh my god, another Ivan. Come on, really? Do I really need to disinherit every single Ivan that comes forth? No, I just realized something. One feature that I would really love to see in EU5 is the ability to capture cannons. In history, a lot of the times in battles, capturing the enemy army's cannons proves to be absolutely vital. For example, it happened between some of the battles of the Moldovans and the Ottomans when they invaded Moldova, where the Moldovans sneaked behind the Ottoman lines and managed to capture the cannons of the Ottomans and use them against them. Stuff like that is really cool. I would love to see that as a feature in EU5 personally. And know what you're thinking? Oh, of course the Romanians came behind and they stole the cannon, y'all. Yeah, we did, okay? You got a problem with that? Let me get my boy Vlad in here. Okay, it seems like I'm not the only one with bad luck, though. Even my vassals here are going up to 70% sieges. And I'm actually also super hyped about elephant units in EU5, because I got a suspicion that elephant units are going to be pretty freaking insane, especially at the start of the campaign. They will. Okie dokes, boys. I think I'm done. Can we get an... Oh, actually, we can get 1,500 ducats from them. I'm going to stay in this war in that case, brother. A 453... you know what? That's actually not too bad. I'm gonna give her a proper Russian name too, just for extra good luck, obviously. All right, 85% should be fine for me to get a bit of extra money. 900 ducats is fine. You know what? That's actually okay with me. Now, let's go ahead and concentrate these areas. I think I also forgot to... Yes, I did. I was over governing capacity. That's why I took a little bit of extra aggressive expansion. It's not at the end of the world, though. It's fine. Plus, look at this. Looking way better, aren't we? This is genuine, proper Russian borders, guys. And actually, we can get some money from selling titles right now. We can use that to get even more money afterwards. Holy mother of barracks. Actually, let's do some more courthouses first and foremost, because we do need to get that governing capacity lowered. And let's also do more churches for the unrest, and especially let's get some bastions, because right now our fortifications are not really very advanced. We're gonna get bastions in the actual defensive locations around Europe, such as Pskov, Viborg, Moscow, obviously our capital. And we're gonna get level 2 fortifications everywhere else where we just need them to lower devastation and basically be a small little bit of a bottleneck meant to just hold the enemy before the army arrives. So we're gonna do one here. We probably can do a few of them in the mountainous areas around the Tibetan plateau, and even one in Ustyurt, just because I'm gonna be going to war with the Timurids again, and when that happens, having Ustyurt as a fortification pretty much means they have to siege a few forts before going into the rest of Russia. Now we also want to start upgrading some more of our monuments, like the one in Siena, because Siena apparently has the capital of Naples, but I'm gonna do that after I integrate them, of course. I'm not gonna do it now. I don't want to give them bonuses, you know what I mean? We also can use our manpower to make sure we boost up these monuments and finish building them pretty much instantly here. Oh, that's a big batch of cultures that just got converted. I do love to exploit the tax development before converting provinces, since you get a little bit of cash in the process, and it's just cheaper as well to convert the province to your culture. I'm also changing the fortification from Trondelag to Jämtland, because that way it prevents anyone from going into the north of Scandinavia. They have to siege Jämtland, whereas Trondelag, they can just bypass us through the province of Hälsingland. And I know I'm pronouncing these perfectly, aren't I? Alright boys, time to make our trade companies. And we're gonna do that based on trade node, of course, and whether or not that trade node has been fully converted to our religion. Otherwise, we gotta manually add the provinces. So in the case of Jiren, all the provinces within the Jiren node have been converted to our religion that we own, at least all of them. That means we can add all of them to the trade company, whereas Yumen is not all Orthodox. So we have to manually add the ones that are already Orthodox to the trade company, whereas the ones that are not Orthodox, we have to wait until they have been finally converted. It is a little bit tedious, not gonna lie, but it's worth it because you don't have to worry about religious rebels ever again afterwards in these lands once you've converted them to your religion, of course. If I was to play efficiently, what I would have done is I would have started making the trade companies as soon as every single province got converted to Orthodoxy. I immediately added it to the trade company. But again, I'm just chilling here. I'm having fun, guys. I'm not trying to be super min-max with every single thing. I could, obviously I could, but it's just too tedious, man. The obvious exception from adding to trade company is provinces that have gold production. If you have that, then you just turn the entire thing into a state to lower the autonomy to 0, so you get all the gold from that province. You don't let it go to waste. Okay, so we already got 2 extra merchants from our trade companies having above 50% of the trade power in their respective nodes, namely in the Mongolian, Manchurian, and Siberian node, actually, for that matter. So we got 3 merchants. I just had to wait till the end of the month. It refreshes after 1 month, even though you get the 50%. So with 3 extra merchants, we can get more filtering done into our main node of Novgorod. And we also need to double down on this and increase the trade power we have in Novgorod, prevent it from filtering away from here. So we can do protect trade in some of these areas here to increase our own trade power. Doesn't have to be in every single state. It's best to just have the protect trade edict only in the states where you already have centers of trade and higher trade power already. So one of these merchants we're going to send into Crimea. From here, he's going to start transferring into Kiev, which is already pretty much completely transferring the trade into Novgorod. Right now, we're getting 0 from the Crimea node, and we're going to start getting significantly more because we already have 50% of the trade value in that node. We're also going to use another one to transfer from the Jiren node. We're getting 0 from Jiren, despite having 70% of the trade power here. All of it is getting sent over to the Japanese node and to Beijing, so we're going to start getting some money from there afterwards. And similarly, we're going to use another merchant to make sure that we transfer from Siberia straight into Kazan, which filters into Novgorod, rather than losing half of the trade by letting it go into Samarkand. And then from Samarkand, we're only getting 60%. So now we managed to increase the trade value of the Novgorod node to 66 ducats, meaning we're getting right now 104 ducats collected from Novgorod alone. As my 4th idea set, I am a little bit torn, I'm not gonna lie. I have a few ideas I would like to go for. I kind of want to go administrative ideas just because I can get the extra governing capacity. It's also going to lower the core creation cost by 25%. So if, and this is a big if, but if you guys want me to do a world conquest, I'm fairly certain we can easily do a world conquest in the last 40 years of the campaign if need be, right? So having admin ideas would make that a little bit easier, of course. But then again, if we do play tall, going for economic ideas, infrastructure, or even aristocratic is obviously preferred, especially aristocratic, because we would have a lot of extra military points lying around that we can just throw at it. But if we are playing toll and we're not expanding, we're going to have a lot of admin points, right? So then admin ideas, economic or infrastructure would also be amazing, since infrastructure would lower the development cost reduction, and economic just has a lot of amazing economic bonuses that we can make use of, whilst aristocratic is basically a mix between getting military as well as economic bonuses for your country in essence. Plus the policies with trade and aristocratic is really good. It gives an extra merchant that we can make use of. Religious also gives extra missionary strength, which we don't really need anymore. Really torn. I'm gonna go for admin, but I might change this. And also I want to see you guys comment in the comment section that you want to see me do a world conquest. Otherwise I'm not doing it for the last part. Just putting it out there. But that's the thing, right? Because in the last part, the next and last part, I will be deciding whether to go full absolutism or to not go full absolutism, because like I said in the earlier bit of the campaign, if we don't want to do a world conquest, we do not need to cancel our privileges. But we do want to do a world conquest, then we have to cancel some of them because we need to reach 100 absolutism. We've also just diplomatically vassalized the knights, and I've converted them to my religion, which means that they're gonna start pirating the coastline of the Catholic nations around. So yeah, sorry Spain, what can I say? So it would appear like Ming is completely gone, guys. This is very unfortunate. Shun has basically taken over the mandate and is doing pretty good, actually. I was hoping that they would leave Ming alive in the province of Yaran so I could make them my subject, but that was not the case, sadly. Now, that being said, I can, of course, release Ming as a subject, and they would get 6 provinces here. It's not the end of the world, and the best part is that they have cores on all of China, so that's basically what I'm gonna do next. I'm basically just gonna attack and take over my subjects' rightful claims. We're not taking it ourselves, okay? So we're still playing toll, technically, because these are Qing's lands. I mean, Ming's land. And that does mean we also need to go back to 3 stability now and have 90 legitimacy or above in order to get this mission done, and liberty desire less than 20% with our subjects. So that means the knights need to be placated once. Booyah Shaka. That means we got absolute autocracy done, and that also means we can do next the Great Imperial Ambition. The modernization advances. Our technology group has changed to Western. There's only like 3 or 4 nations of the game that can change their technology group to Western. The Ottomans, the Russians, the Ethiopians, and I think this is pretty much most of them, which is an absolutely insane thing because it means now our units are going to be as good as the Western units are in the late campaign, which is when the Western units are the best. And it also means we got more missions unlocked here. We can even do some of these. The governing state allows us to unlock the governing Senate government reform, which basically enables a parliament for our country. Or we can abolish the Senate, which allows us to sell titles to specific estates and seize lands from specific estates, which is a unique thing that only Russia has. Plus, it also gives us conversion time for cultures and yearly government power plus 0.5. I do like a good parliament as much as the next guy. Plus, it gives max privilege per estate plus 1. So it's honestly the better option. But I like the second one too. I'm a little bit torn, to be honest with you guys. Now, the most holy Senate also gives us another government reform. Option 1, we get 1 extra missionary, manpower in True Faith province, and patriarch's loyalty equilibrium increase. Plus, it gives temples and cathedrals plus 33% local tax and minus 2 local unrest. Or you can just keep the current one we have. No, we're gonna go for this, of course. So that basically replaces the old expand temple rights, which is basically the same like that, but better. Because this one also gives the extra 1 missionary, manpower and True Faith, and patriarch's equilibrium for loyalty. So in essence, it's expand temple rights on steroids. And it is, again, unique to the Russians. It is extremely overpowered, by the way. We also can get an extra 1 number of manufactories for 10 random owned provinces that have 20 development and manufactories. We also can get the ability to either revoke privileges without caring about loyalty and influence by going for absolute rule, or we get the parliamentary issue for the parliament. We just need to pass some issues in parliament right now and get some more agendas done for the patriarchs, which apparently we haven't done for the patriarchs since the start of the campaign. That's crazy. You also can get flat amounts of money here. Look at that, about 4,000 ducats just from this one mission. And westernize the military will change our unit type to Western, and also until the end of the game we get 5% discipline. To do this one, we just need to have some more professionalism. So all we got to do is recruit some generals to increase our professionalism and win 40 battles after you've unlocked this mission. So from now on, just win 40 battles. Very easy to do, with the great power of the East afterwards giving us minus 1% prestige decay and 1 diplo reputation till the end of the game. And we also get to unlock the final 3 missions when the Age of Revolutions start. That's very later down the campaign, so that's obviously going to be done for the next part. So I let you guys have something to look forward to, not just show everything in this particular part of the campaign. Let's see how long until we can attack these guys. We still have a truce with them. I think it's going to finish soon though, in 1576. Okay, 3 years and then we can attack Poland and basically fully annex everything they got left here. Guess in the meanwhile we have time to do a few wars for Shun maybe. Let's see what we can do with our parliament. I feel like the best option would be to do the cultural conversion cost minus 15%, which in turn means that we would be converting provinces super fast now and super cheap to our culture. I'm gonna add Moscow as my first parliament seat. That way it's easy to just control them. Admin support, Booyah Shaka. Now we got it. So let's see how cheap it is to convert provinces. 8 mana to convert to our culture. That is actually insane, my dude. 8 mana. Holy mother of schnatz. I am so gonna convert everybody to Muscovite right now. Alright, Shun, time to get back Beijing for my little Schnitzeldorf. It's mine. I saw it first. You know I saw it first. Also, I need more generals now. As I said earlier, we need to get more professionalism, so getting generals is the fastest way to increase our professionalism. There you go. That means we can also now do handle the Streltsy, and that means we got a land maintenance modifier minus 15%, which affects our Streltsy regiments. And I'm actually gonna do something. I'm gonna be giving the generals from now on my patron's name as a little bit of a token of my appreciation. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting me on Patreon. It really has helped me out so much. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, so thank you so much for that. Now, you better have good siege pips, okay? I'm looking at you. You better have good siege pips when I recruit you. Also, I want to change the religion of Ming. I know they're going to be super disloyal after doing this, but it's fine because after I start giving them all the provinces back, they're going to start being loyal again. What on earth is this? The Coweta Federation Federation is the largest nation in North America, followed by the Chickasaw Federation and the Pacaha. And the Aztec... Wait, what? What is this? Aztecs. Aztecs have not been crushed by the Spaniards in 1570? What? Caraibas is pretty much the only European colonial nation in the New World, alongside Newfoundland, which is and the 13 colonies, which are colonies of the British. My allies. I'm allied to both Britain and the Spaniards. So our alliance bloc owns more than 70% of the planet right now. And you know what? I actually took the burger loans because I want to start building manufactories. I want to have as many manufactories as possible. Build them up, boys. Especially the fur provinces. I really want to have manufactories in there because that's a lot of money I'm going to get from that. I do need diplomatic tech 14, so I do have to wait a little bit before I can do that. 15. Still haven't adopted the printing press because Nassau's being a little Schnitzeldorf though, so we're a little bit behind with our technology, sadly. You know what? I can use the extra money to just upgrade my monuments. I upgraded the Dalaskogan mine, and I'm going to do the same with Ichtankala, which gives us cheaper centers of trade upgrade. Probably going to use manpower to get this one done. Actually, I'm going to do both of them. Dalaskogan one, I'm going to do the same. Because for level 2, Dalaskogan also gives us minus 10% artillery cost alongside the extra local goods produced. As you would imagine, though, in this province, it is an absolute must that we build a manufactory. And yes, we have to make this into a full state, of course. Okay, the truce is over finally, so we can attack the Poles. Let's go. Time to get our rightful clay, boys. I know what you're saying, guys. Come on. Ludi, you just said that about all the other provinces you attacked unlawfully. Well, you know what? If I saw it, okay, it means it's mine. That's how stuff works, okay? You be quiet now. I actually do not want to destroy Chu. I'm just gonna take some money if I can from them, because I kind of like the way the balance of power is in China right now. I definitely want all the money they can give me as well, for that matter. And let's see, all the bordering provinces, absolutely delicious. All right, look at that. Not a single coalition in sight, because everybody knows Ming is the rightful ruler of these lands, and they're just coming back to reclaim what's theirs. Plus, look at this. We only have 16 Liberty Desire because we've returned a lot of their cores back. We're going to even lower that more after we return more of their cores back. We have, after all, pretty much revived the Ming from the dead, right? Because they were basically gone. One thing I absolutely need to do now is get a lot of trade ships. I do not have even close to the amount of trade ships that I'm supposed to have right now. I need to have a lot of trade ships, guys, and I have like 5, okay? I don't have many. The plan is to at least reach our naval force limit to do that one mission we got that we just unlocked, and of course they're all going to be trade ships. I think we're going to need actually 3 fleets in total, one of them in Crimea, another one in Asia, and the third one to help out in the Novgorod node. So of course, classic Spain calls me into a war against the French right before I decided to attack Karakoyunlu, because why wouldn't they, right? That's right, I gave up on the whole idea of vassalizing Karakoyunlu. I wanted to, but reality is that it's just easier to wipe them out right now and just feed them up to the Georgians. Oh, look at that, Persia formed. Oh, that's actually so cool. You know what? I'm gonna try and get good relations with them. Why not have a friend in the Middle East, am I right? Oh, yes, baby. Thank you very much. I did need that stability. Now, I've also sold some titles, and I can use that to embrace the printing press, or I can be a little bit of a cheese ball, and I can switch to the icon of Saint Clemecus, and that way it's 1,000 ducats cheaper. So yeah, we're going to go for St. Clemecus, and then we're going to get rid of St. Clemecus and go back to the development and construction cost reduction St. Patroclus. Wasn't that the friend of Achilles? What was his name? Patroclus? I don't remember. Now, since we do have diplomatic tech 14, we can also start building those manufactories in fur provinces. So that is where all the big money is going to be coming from. Hey, Alaska! That's awesome. That's our first colony in the New World, by the way. Now, we have 3 options. We can go for the Crown Colony, Self-Enterprise, or self-governing colony. I like the self-governing colony because that's going to make it easier for them to expand by themselves, and I'm also going to subsidize them to make sure they have enough money to keep on expanding by themselves. And also named as the proper name, Salmon Land, which is where all the salmon comes from. Everybody knows it's literally the only thing they produce in Alaska, aside from all the oil as well and gold. It's mostly salmon. It's a salmon-based industry there. Some would even go as far as calling it Salmonaska. I would not not do that personally, you know. I mean, calling an entire nation like that Salmanaska is just disrespectful, really. Even though that's technically what the local people would like you to call it, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Alaskan people watching. I'm just kidding. There's no people in Alaska. It's all bears. That's why the salmon is the main produce, because they all just eat salmon. That's it. It's a bear salmon habitat. That's it. That's everything that's happening in Alaska. Do not Google 2 bears, 1 salmon. Do not do it. Just don't. Trust me. I'm such a nice guy, man. I'm letting Karakoyunlu still survive in the southern provinces. Most people would just fully annex them, but no, I gotta be nice like that. You know what I mean? Now, that being said, we can now do a march into the Caucasus. That gives us more claims in the area and 150 admin power. If we had an ally in the area, then we would have gotten until the end of the game +1 diplomatic relations. But we don't care about that, okay? I'm not salty. Shut up. I'm not salty at all. In fact, I wanted that, okay? Because now I'm closer to my -25 core creation cost reduction. There. You happy? That's it. All right, we've recruited enough ships that we can do the Great Fleet of Russia. So until the end of the game, we get 5% extra trade efficiency, naval maintenance reduction, ship trade power +20%, and naval tradition from protecting trade, as well as mercantilism. Dude, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this is one of the most powerful naval missions ever. Like, overall, the mission tree the Russians have is probably the most well thought out and most fun mission tree I've had so far. I even like this more than Austria's mission tree, the newest one, which is crazy to say, right? Alternatively, you can also just make your ships insanely powerful, but of course, go for the first option. The trade option is always going to win. And the second mission we can do as well, monopolize the node, which means we got about, how much is that? Like 5,000 ducats from a simple Clicius. I'm going to piece out the Poles too. I'm just taking a little bit of Poland. I'm not completely wiping them out. I just want to get the actual Polish lands, which are my culture, because all Slavs are my culture, boyos. That's right. I'm unifying Slavdom. French would also give me white peace because they're getting their asses handed to them by the Spaniards. And that is my cue to attack the Austrians, which hold rightful Russian clay, Hungary. I'm not sure how that one works, but yeah, don't think about it too much. That's all I'm gonna say. I love how the Casus Belli is, quite frankly, just cleansing of heresy. Like, what kind of heresy are we talking about here, guys? We're talking about Horus heresy. What type of heresy is this really? Now, this war also is gonna be twice beneficial for us because we have a lot of little OPMs around the HRE that we can just convert to our religion now, meaning we're gonna get our religion level advanced as well, so we can start getting manpower from the Orthodox Defender of the Faith. I'm gonna be committing a little bit more of my army in this particular war because the Austrians do have 70,000, but they do have Western units, so they're better than the units I normally fight. I believe Telia is also in this, yes, and Moravia for that matter. We can piece these both out quickly and get 2 extra delicious Orthodox nations in the process. Is it weird saying delicious Orthodox nations? I don't know, maybe a little bit. Holy mother of God, Gold Rush gives us now 4,000 ducats? My brother. Austria just casually running around with the 75,000 death stack. You know what? I'm gonna match that. Let's go, Austria. You crazy like that? I can be crazy too. Let's see who is the craziest and bestest soldierist everest. Apparently it's me. They might have a lot more artillery than me, but I still got more cojones, as they say in Russia. I do love these little wars though. Like, it's honestly the best way to just spread my religion. Let's see how much of the HRE is already Orthodox. Apparently not too much. We do have like small pockets in the north, small pockets to the west a little bit, but not as much as I expected would be Orthodox by now. Now, if we were to sit on the Austrians occupy like this for a little while, they would likely never be able to recover from that. Holy mother of God, the French have completely gotten occupied by Spain, which is clearly winning that war. Would seem like the Austrians would already give up. Kind of want to take the money too, so I'll stay at war for a few more months, I guess. And let's see if the French are willing to give me what I want. No, not yet. How much money would you give me? 850. I guess if I wait for a couple more months till I siege down the province of Breisgau, you would give me all the money I want, wouldn't you? Let's put it to the test, shall we? Avec all the money? Not all the money. We're still lacking a little bit, but you know what? This is fine. I'm okay with that because it allows me to do my mission, and I can start my war with the Ottomans because the truce just finished, and everybody knows you should always have a truce with the Ottomans until they don't exist anymore. Now, that being said, skibbity boo, skibbity bay, Annex Carpathia gives us another 3 max promoted cultures and manpower in true faith provinces +10, as well as a permanent claim on every South Slavic province in the Balkans. And then we can do protect the Slavs, which will form a Slavic culture group. So if we go to our culture map mode, we see that we have 1 culture power to rule them all. It means we merge the West Slavs, the South Slavs, and the East Slavs into one major Slavic group. And because we are an empire, it means that all of these cultures are by default accepted cultures. And we have alongside that acceptance for Hungarians, Romanians, Transylvanians, and a few other here. So we do have a ton of accepted cultures as consequence. To do the third Rome mission, we just need to own the city of Constantinople. So that's literally why we're attacking the Ottomans now. We will be going again for the Holy War CB, and we're going to be calling in our Spanish broskies, rush for the capital, and just occupy as much as we can ASAP. Also want to point out that it is nice using your government interactions. Obviously, you get a ton of manpower. I mean, we literally get 50,000 every time we do this, and we increase our units of combat ability, lower the war exhaustion. We get autonomy reduction in provinces. We get national tax idea cost reduction and so on. But if you don't use your government power, you also can get passive bonuses. So from the admin one, we get core creation cost and development cost reduction. From the diplo one, we get improved relations and diplo reputation. And from the military one, we get army tradition and harsh treatment cost reduction. So of course, use all of them, but keep the admin and the military one. The cultural revolution one is dog shit unless you really have a lot of subject, which you should not really have much as Russia. For us to get level 5 Defender of the Faith for the Orthodox, we need to get another 27 nations following this faith. I don't think that's gonna happen because I'm just gonna wipe out everybody by that point, honestly. That being said, we do have an extra merchant now because we upgraded the Krakow Cloth Hall, which we're gonna actually max out because it's gonna give 2 merchants and global trade power plus 10%. This is, in my opinion, one of the most overpowered and underrated monuments because just 2 flat out merchants is huge. That's the equivalent of unlocking freaking half of the trade ideas, which is like thousands of power points in the process. It is ridiculous how powerful this monument is. And of course, we're going to make good use of these extra merchants. We actually needed an extra merchant for the crossroads here of Persia, which is not really transferring any money towards our node. We just have the Georgians and Karakoyunlu transferring some to Astrakhan, but other than that, it's nothing coming in our way. By the way, guys, I actually started recording the Crusader Kings part of the mega campaign. I don't know how many of you still watch that. Let me know in the comments if you do. I'm actually curious because I had issues with the Imperator Rome converter to CK3. It was giving a lot of bugs. I played a couple of times. I actually started twice with the save game from which turns into a mod with the converter, but it kept crashing and it was just not stable because I think the converter itself has not properly been updated in a while. I don't know why. I imagine because there's not many people still playing Imperator Rome, but whatever the case, I'm gonna continue the game differently. You'll see what I'm talking about. The Crusader Kings 3, I'm gonna start as the last remnants of the Romans, which is a landless lord. The premise is the world magically realigned itself with what the start date for CK3 is. We start a fresh game without any bugs, and then we play as a landless adventurer with no realms of our own, but we are descended from the last emperor of the Roman Empire that was ousted in 476, and our house slowly will build up and get rich and then grab land and start and will restore the Roman Empire in CK3, and then we port that to EU4 and so on. I feel like that's a good idea, and I'm kind of genuinely hyped to start it off like that. I would love some feedback on it actually, guys, so let me know. Okay, boys, let's get all the monies. Let's get Constantinople, and I want to get rid of this border gore, of course. I would like Ori though, so how much money would I waste there? 1,000. You know what, that's fine. Let's get Ori, which means that now we can do the third Rome mission. Booyah Schnackadones. We can convert this province to our religion, to our culture, and we add an extra 8 development to it. Plus, until the end of the game, it gets dev cost reduction, production efficiency, tax modifier, a lot of amazing modifiers. Tarigad is ours, or Targrad. It also has 51 development, which is crazy, brother. Like, what? And coring it is only 40 admin power, despite it being 51 development because of all of these insane modifiers that we have. We do have, of course, governing capacity issues, a lot of them. So after this war, we're chilling. We're only going to give back lands to Ming, and that's pretty much it. We're not taking anything for ourselves because we need to catch up with our governing capacity, meaning we got to finish doing the admin ideas. And yeah, basically, we're just going to be building up our nation now, recovering. One very important thing to note is that we have to change change our trade city back to Novgorod. Otherwise, our entire trade is going to get completely wiped out. We're basically getting no money right now because all of the money is transferring into the Baltics and so on, because we don't have our trade city in Novgorod anymore since we changed the capital to Tsarograd. So now we're back to 400 total income from 200 total income, which we had because we didn't have any trade income with our capital in Constantinople. Very important, because that can actually ruin your campaign. We're also taking advantage of this period of peace and prosperity, and we're annexing the knights in Siena because they're OPMs and I need the Diplo relations slot. But more importantly, the knights I'm annexing because they have the Malta forts, which will allow me to take 15% more war score from other nations should I decide to make this into a world conquest, if you guys tell me you want that in the comment section, of course. And I don't know, we have like 4,000 or 5,000 likes on the video, which gives me the idea that you're still watching this particular part of the campaign, because I know the last part of the campaign sometimes a little bit more difficult to watch. Great success, everybody. A global trade has spawned in Yaroslav. That is because we do have right now the best trade node. The Novgorod trade node is up to 116 ducats, which means we're getting 186 ducats out of this node alone. We do have 10 traders right now thanks to our multiple trade companies, and even big thank you to Salmon Land, best land in the salmon. That means that we're doing our best to start transferring everything from the Middle East and from China all the way back into our main Novgorodian areas. We did start a war with Persia now and with the remainder of the Timurids, because they are guaranteeing the Timurids, because we need to actually get a bigger chunk of the Transoxianian node, which is basically the bottleneck right now for getting more trade into our areas. We could literally double the amount of ducats we can end up having in our main node by just getting the northern provinces from the Timurids. The Ottomans also lost another war against the Austrians, and now they're probably going to lose against the Mamluks. So after the Mamluks finish their war, I'm also going to be attacking the Ottomans to grab the rest of the Caucasus and some other parts I might be interested in. The Austrians are also going to be needing some more teaching, because they unfortunately took Slavic lands and they should not be touching my Slavs. I genuinely wanted to take more lands from the Timurids, but classic EU4, the rest of the freaking world attacked them at the same time, so I just cannot get the war score to enforce what I wanted to. But hey, you know what? We genuinely got all of the Samarkand provinces, so now after we double down on the trade power from these lands, we should get close to 100% of the trade power, so we're going to get a lot more money sent over to Novgorod. Plus, we can do another mission now, consolidation of the steppes, because we do have 4 centers of trade in Samarkand. Alright, we just got 16,000 ducats from selling titles, as well as from taking the 1% burger loans. And I did that because it's time to double down on our income. We're at 500 total income and 1,600, which is honestly a little bit depressing. So let's go ahead and start building a buttload of manufactories. We haven't really been doubling down on manufactories as much as we should have. We also can upgrade our soldiers' households to training fields, which is going to give us insanely high amounts of manpower. It literally will get us up to 1 million manpower. We're at 550,000 now, so it should technically get us very close to 1 mil. Also, when it comes to our governing capacity, we're actually doing pretty okay. We're basically on par with our max governing capacity, but we got to work more on that because we haven't even fully made states out of all of the Eastern European areas. We still have the Balkans we need to make full states, and we also need to make the Nordic areas, unless I'm going to make them into... Actually, maybe I should make them into a trade company. This is, after all, Western Europe, so I would be able to make it as a trade company, the Baltic Sea Trade Company. It would appear like my old Tunisian enemy would make for a very, very delicious diplomatic vassal. I'll just take them just because I can. I had the extra diplo relation slots open. I'm not gonna attack my Spanish ally. Come on, guys. I also don't want to go to war with the Japanese just for the southern part of Sakhalin, so I'm gonna be bullying them and asking them to give this to me. There you go. We avoided a big war right there. And I'll do the same with Shu. I'm basically giving them an extra 5-6 years before I attack them by threatening war to get that one province. I'm doing this because I can now get the Amur expansion mission accomplished, which means the province of Vladivostok will go up to 27 development. Holy mother of schnitzel. And we also get a unique modifier here, Russian Pacific port, making this one of the best provinces we have in the Pacific coastline. By taking on the debt of Tunis, we actually got so much relations that we can just diplo-vassalize them now. I don't even need to stress about improving relations with them, which is the best thing ever. I love having lots of cash. The New World has seen some massive changes also. We see Caraibas conquered most of the Aztecs. We have Portuguese Louisiana all the way into the northern parts. We've got Pajara Federation got massacred by the Portuguese. 13 colonies also massacred the Cherokee. And we got Portuguese Mississippi. Wait a second. This is directly owned by Portugal. Did this get recently conquered? It did. Wow. They're crushing the colonial nations. Oh, my lord. I do feels bad for them. Oh, actually, Vinland is a Dutch colony, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, Danish colony. Totally not the same thing. My apologies, Danish and Dutch people. France is also colonizing the Colombian part. Portugal is still in the south, and Chimu apparently almost unified Inca. It's funny, but Portugal and Spain literally reverse roles. The Brazilian parts are Spanish, and everything else is Portuguese with some French in the north. What is happening in this game, man? Timbuktu and Ethiopia is still going strong in Africa, and we now have Congo and Kilwa added to the south. Mamluks trying to get back what they lost from the Ottomans, but kind of failing. The Persians actually managed to grab a bit of land from the Ottomans now, and they released Trebizond. Oh, they're Orthodox. I'm gonna keep them. I can definitely diplomatically vassalize Trebizond, so we're gonna do that. I do hope you guys have been enjoying this particular run. I'm having a lot of fun with it. We entered the 1600s now, so we're gonna have to make a decision between world conquest or just continue to see how much more money we can get as the Russians with the current expansion we have. But I'm kind of leaning towards the world conquest, to be honest. I kind of got a little bit bored. I just want to conquer everybody now. So I kind of regret not going for world conquest ideas. But hey, leave that like and don't forget to subscribe. It would really mean the world to me. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next part.